The numbers are not far enough to justify the cost difference.
It definitely feels slower to me. There's always going to be some unfairness in the hall. Whoever is organizing it need to ask themselves, do they want to have local artists? Do they want to have new artists in their hall? I'm here in the trash pile where I belong. You know how every artist wants to get into Anime Expo? It's only that way until they get here. Okay, here's about a third of the packages that people sent to me asking if I could deliver to their table because they're not local to AX. The rest is upstairs, so we'll go get that. Here is the rest of them. Luckily, because I have noodle arms, they're coming to pick those up. I thought we were being fancy. Cut it with walnut, the most expensive cup of my life. Oh, that sounds awful. Oh, there's the second one. Go ahead, ask me how much walnut is. Ask me how much walnut cost me.
How much did this walnut cost?
Like 80 bucks. Oh. The other one's made out of MDF board. Works great. It's like $2. Looks like shit. Works great. Also, this is the wrong piece. I mean, it should fit here still. Will this one break? We're 3 in a row. Big one. Oh wait. Well, actually, that one's missing a piece.
Oh, we lost another one.
I do have one of the MDF stands in the car, so one will be fancy walnut falling apart, and the other one will be our $2 MDF board. $2 on Temu. It's not from Temu. It's also custom, but the MDF is like $2. There you go, it's done. One of these. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out later. No, it's floppy.
Okay, I was originally concerned that I was gonna be over the height limit because my display is about 3 inches over what they say you can have, but they came over and measured it and they were like, as long as it's not sellable merch, 6 feet from the table limit, you're good. So display's good. And then my sign was also good for the same reason, because normally you can't have artwork facing outward. I think it's to like make sure that you're respecting your neighbors, but even if you're a corner, still applies. But because my sign isn't merch and is not being sold, they said it's considered decor, and I'm all good. You can get your Twink Boy body pillows for your mom, your dad, and your wife here. Welcome to AX. Be nice if it burned down, huh? It's okay, next time is the charm. Pile of ash, I promise you, next year.
I'm riding the bike. I'm riding the bike.
We're starting the soda count at number 4.
Feels good, baby. Don't look at my fries, I didn't waste the fries. Don't get the Anime Expo fries, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Closing up shop.
After unsuccessfully trying to burn down the con, I guess today was okay. I don't know. But it's a Thursday. Why am I at a con on a Thursday?
Because it's Anime Expo, baby.
I hate 4-day cons. That's my recap. Out of the 1,100 artists here, which do you think are going to be canceled for AI art? If I was a frog, would I be a cute frog or like an ugly like toad that like peed on you? Like, what do you think? Boop, 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 boop. Don't go to AX. It's hot, it's sweaty, my feet hurt. I want to die. All right, I'm mic'd up. That's a flat. I think I'm too young to be in here. Cover your eyes. I don't know. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. last year I had one of the worst spots in the hall and I did awful. It was my worst AX ever. So today's Friday feels much better than last year's Friday, but still kind of slow considering we got one of the best spots in the hall. So I don't know how to feel about it. I'm gonna have to wait till Saturday to know how this con's gonna do overall, but it's okay. It's okay. We're okay. I'm not panicking yet. I think that's it. Stop recording. Turn it off. Stop. Go to Anime Expo, where you can find all your waifu, baby girl doll, you love it, bring it home. Your wife will not be upset. I promise you. Buy 10, buy 4, buy 30. I'm gonna go buy some Pokemon cards. This shit. Bye. Can't catch me, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Hamway, and this is Jackass.
Sang Lamb. How do you feel about AX this year, 2025?
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
I was looking for not a print, and I found this sweater, and I bought one. It's $80, and I love it.
I know a lot of people don't like it this year, but I guess it's like my first year in Artist Alley, so I'm like, I don't know, it looks pretty good. These number looks pretty good.
Well, you were in the Annex, what, 2 years ago when it existed?
Yeah,
How's
I was
that
there
compare?
like 2 years. The 2 years that it was there, I think we were both there. Oh, you got an Artist Alley in one of those years. So we're on the last day and already doing more than what I did the better weekend in the Annex.
I think for me, because I've done Artist Alley 3 times now, the first year I did it, which was 2023, was probably my best year by quite a bit. And then last year, like I had a big dip. And then this year I have a really good spot.
You do.
Like a really good spot.
Like
and
right at the front of the entrance.
I think I might do a bit better than last year, but considering how much better my spot is, it definitely feels slower to me. I noticed that a lot of the new people are vibing. They're like, oh, this is great. But all the people who have been here before are feeling the dip. So like it's still a great show,
Yeah.
but there's definitely with the increase of like, because it went from 900 artists to I think 1100. Those numbers might be wrong. They're on the screen. It definitely like is gonna hurt sales a bit if you're not like the most popular people in the hall.
I think there's also newer people that come in with the expectation of like, you know, how hyped up AX is, and then they bring a lot of stock, and now they have to go back with a lot of stock because it's a lot more competitive and numbers aren't as what they used to be. So even when you're new and come in prepared, like you might end up going back with a lot of stock. So that's just like really high expense. You're only my part-time husband because you're always busy.
I know a lot of newer artists think that they need to stack up on fan art, especially at a show like Anime Expo that's a much more like general audience than say like a Gen Con, Dragon Con, or like Lightbox or something. Do you think that reigns true for like a more seasoned artist like yourself?
If you're choosing to do fan art, you're kind of competing with like some of the biggest fan art artists in the hall pretty much. Like if you choose the same IP, you're directly competing with them. Instead of if you created something original, even though like it might not be like immediate hit, I feel like at some point you're gonna find something that's like you found your niche, and then like it would do better than just competing in fan art, like because everyone want to do Pokemon, Ghibli, like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor, like all the iconic stuff.
I also think OC stuff has like longer lifespan, especially for your brand. You can start building your brand much easier that way. You're not stuck to the Artist Alley, because if you move into like exhibitor space and you have like Sailor Moon and all this, like Viz Media or these other publishing companies, you're kind of free game then. I've seen them come after people. Normally you're safe in the Artist Alley, not always, but it's a bit, you know, a bit more safer that way.
You can also like choose to spend longer time on your pieces or your products and make it higher quality instead of like chasing the latest anime that just got released and you just need to like crank out something immediately. Like
I did a Dungeon Meshi print last year and it was a bestseller for a couple months, but then it like sales for that piece definitely died off after the hype died down. You know, if you can work really fast and you can get stuff out in a very strategical, timely way, then I think that can be beneficial. But But yeah, there's definitely a balance, I think, especially at a show like Anime Expo.
Yeah, it's not like to say that you don't ever want to do fan art. If you really like a show, I mean, you can do fan art for it, but I don't think you need to have like a whole fan art booth and like try to crank out as many as you can to start out. How do you feel about convention adding a lot more artists into their hall? I feel like a lot of the show that we've been to start doing that, starting last year and then this year. Almost like 30% to like 50% more artists.
I think there's definitely a balance to be had. Obviously, the more artists, the cooler the show, the better for like the attendees it'll be, to a point. Because Anime Expo specifically went from, I think it was around 900 artists to around 1,100. They ended up clearing a big section of the exhibit space and adding like 300-400 more artists. And I think a lot of artists have voiced their concerns and felt kind of like sales being a little down this year, but also the economy is not doing great. So I think there's a couple factors there. I think when you have a show that already has like almost 1,000 artists, it's going to be very heavy competition. So if you're not already a professional artist making really, really good work, it's going to be hard to stand out in a show like Anime Expo, even with 100,000 plus attendees. So like, I don't think anything's changed as far as Anime Expo in that regards. Did I make 5-10% less money? Maybe. But I think shows like AWA, some other ones that like double their artist alley. I even know like SakuraCon recently, or like in the last couple of years, like added a huge sections. The value of that table goes down. So if the price of the booth is the same, then like I have to be like, okay, is the value of me as an artist still there? And if I'm a newer artist, like that amount of money is a big factor on whether it's profitable or even like doable. So big professional artists who have been doing it a long time, they'll make money anywhere, but it's not always very accessible for people who are just entering the space. I think convention staff or like whoever is organizing it need to ask themselves, do they want to have local artists? Do they want to have new artists in their hall? And depending on that answer, I mean, that's where you're going to be at with that.
Since going to Dokumi and interviewing Fisky, how would you say the like artist picking is like between Anime Expo and Dokumi?
Because Anime Expo, I actually did want to talk about this, switched over to lottery from a juried system recently. I think the problem with all the like traditional ways of jurying into a show, I think they're all flawed in a way, which is why there's always like, people are like, oh no, lottery, oh no, first come, first serve, oh no, we should be prioritizing local artists. Like none of them solve every issue. You know, when it's lottery, I know like newer artists feel like it's more fair, and then more professional artists feel like they've worked so long to like be there, and then they don't feel like it's fair. And you know, I see both sides certainly. But Dokumi implements a 3-tiered system where they do first come, first served, which is self-explanatory. Then they do a lottery system, and then they also do a juried system. So it's, you know, a third. And I think this is the closest to what I would like to see in bigger conventions. I don't think that this is a perfect system either. I would say if I had my wish, I would want to see a lottery system for a third, but if you get picked for the lottery system, you are immediately banned for the next year. You can't be picked through the lottery the next year. I think that's the only way that lottery in my head becomes fair. I know like Lightbox does this sort of, and I think that's a good system for a portion of your artist alley. And then I want to see first come, first serve for local artists only. What local artists mean is kind of up to, you know, the convention's interpretation. Is that your country, your city? I don't know. I think that depends on the scale and the scope of the artist alley or the show. And then a real juried system for another third of it. Because shows are going to want those bigger name artists there anyways. It makes the show better. It curates everything to a higher standard. So when you don't do all three of those, there's always going to be some unfairness in the hall. So with Anime Expo switching from a full juried system to a lottery system, there's still issues. They're just different issues, right? I think lottery, for me, when I hear shows that do lottery, that really just sounds like a show not wanting to be criticized for their picks. Oops, somebody who did AI got in, not our fault because it's lottery. Oops, I let this controversial artist in because it's lottery, not our fault. It just seems like they're pushing the blame off of it. And you can tell, especially in Anime Expo, like there's no way this show is a true lottery system because they're not super transparent about how it's working. And that's fine. That, you know, that's up to them. But I've seen artists like a hall that's true lottery. The level and talent in this hall is above that for sure. So they're definitely weeding out people who drew a couple pictures and then wanted to be an artist and applied. You know what I mean? Which is probably half the applications if I had to give a random guess, which I think is good, but they're also, you know, they're not transparent about that. So it's just a guess on my end. And they don't have, like, I'm not criticizing them for not being transparent. It's just like, I'm guessing. Yeah. I know there's a lot of like print artists and product artists, but you're doing both. And I know you've been in the exhibit hall and you've been in the artist alley. Have you seen like a difference between them? Would you recommend one over the other?
I feel like this year is kind of my first year where I'm like consistently trying both at the same time. I'm not noticing a significant difference between numbers. Like the numbers are not far enough to justify the cost difference. I think maybe that's just me. Like I pull a very close number in Artist Alley versus Exhibitor. It just makes my life easier behind the booth when I have the 10 by 10 with all my apparel and like the 10 sizes and per design. Other than that, I feel like it doesn't quite make a difference. If there's anything, I would say people buy more merch in Exhibitor, like my print move a little less, and vice versa. Like in Artist Alley, you get the crowd that are looking for art, so they're buying more prints. But because I'm doing both, it just kind of even out.
Do you feel that you have to like build higher in exhibit hall to stand out?
Good question. I feel like I do build a little higher, but I don't have those like enormous like 10-foot tall booths. Like I'm already building pretty high in Artist Alley because the trend is already building pretty high. Artist Alley is not far off of Exhibitor, honestly. Unless you're like those really, really tall, like just the wall of prints artists in Exhibitor, I feel like everyone's kind of like 8-9 foot already.
What is the cost differentiation between like an artist alley and an exhibit hall at say the same show? Is it like the same ratio? Is it like double? Is it triple? What are you seeing?
I would say almost double because Artist Alley table I think it's like 400 to maybe like 800, and Exhibitor I think it's like 1200 or like 1K is the low end that I see, and on the higher end I believe it's like 2-3K per 10 by 10.
And that's averages.
That's average.
And I think like some places like Anime Expo, it's even higher. I've seen 4 or 5K, New York City Comic Con, San Diego, like those exhibit booths go for a lot. And the wait lists for them are really crazy. But I do know you can rebook.
That is a benefit to be like guarantee a spot because so many shows are moving to lottery this year and then the following year, you know. It's hard to not know how many shows you're gonna have in a year.
If like my local show is really hard to get into AA, then maybe I would consider Exhibitor, but as a print artist, I think my sales would drop a bit, or I just don't want to justify the extra cost because I don't need the extra space. But if it's that versus not getting in, or I can guarantee myself my local show, then maybe I consider it at that point. Help. Oh my god. So you're assisting another artist here at Anime Expo 2025 this year. How has that been?
It's been a lot of fun. I am with Megan Kim. She is known for her eggfish plushie.
Shout out.
Shout out. Also, she made my outfit. This is our first Anime Expo ever. She's been trying to get into Anime Expo for the last 13 years. It's been a minute, and she finally made it. Very exciting. As for assisting her, I started recently helping her with the convention scene because I am an avid con goer. I've been going to Anime Expo since like 2010 when I was yay tall. I only missed the last couple of years like after COVID hit, but I'm back. My last one was 2019 pretty much. I actually really enjoy like the whole customer service aspect of the convention scene, and getting to know people and meeting artists has been a lot of fun.
I think that's like the perfect assistant because like me as an artist and an introvert, like I'm awful with customer service. I just want to be home like making my little pictures and not talking to anybody. But you know, so many shows require the artist to be there, which I totally understand. Like I get that like community aspect of it, but like also I'm like, I'm scared. Don't talk to me.
It's funny because I'm quite an introvert as well, but for whatever reason, I think I've worked so many like retail and customer service jobs, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I can do it. But I like being at conventions, and being behind the table is something that I never thought I would ever do.
I think also because maybe we're introverts, I know like a lot of artists like try to hard sell their work. And me as an introvert, if I was like consumer or an attendee, like I'm immediately like disgusted by that booth. Even if I love the work, I'm going nowhere near you if you're trying to hard sell me something. So I think like just being polite and like not in people's faces go a long way for sales. Not throwing shade to anybody at all in the artist alley ever. I'm seeing less of that, but it's definitely a thing that has happened in the past. And I think, you know, let the work speak for itself, for sure. It goes a long way.
Another thing about being in Artist Alley as someone at a booth, I feel like it's really interesting because there's a lot of artists who I look up to that are here, and like meeting them, it's like you like look up to them, they seem so unreachable, but they're actually just like normal people, and it's like crazy. Like when I first saw you, I think it was at Megan's wedding, and Megan was like, this is the artist that I met, like whatever, and I was like, what? In the flesh? No way.
I'm here in the trash pile where I belong.
Pile.
Yeah, I think honestly that's my favorite part of like doing Artist Alley is meeting the other artists, like all these people that I've admired for years, and like getting to know them, and just like, I don't know, I think the majority of like my closest friends are people I've met at Artist Alley. My life would be very different. It would be very lonely if I hadn't done like conventions for a living. I'm like trying to think of like a normal person that I talk to. Do I know a banker? No. Do I know like somebody with a 9-to-5? I don't know anybody with 9-to-5s. I don't know. If you're a mechanic, like DM me. I'll put art on your wall. Please tell me why my car is making that sound.
This is what it's like behind Inkwell's table. You know who's not here? Him. He never want to be here. He's never here. He's always out and about somewhere.
Every time I've come to the table to be like, hey, let's film something, you know who I met with? The assistant, not the artist.
It's like he's not even here. Ever. And his addiction, oh my god. His $5 Coke.
The amount of soda in the trash can, or the
Psycho.
soda cans, insane.
Psycho.
Insane, absolutely insane.
Problematic.
I've never seen anyone drink that much soda in my life.
I know.
Or if you need to lure him with anything.
True. Caffeine and sugar.
Fried chicken.
$16 popcorn chicken.
Jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle. Well.
Stop it. I'm hungry. Teardown also was extremely easy this year as Emirichu stopped by and decided to give a helping hand.
Oh shit! I've been hit. Yeah.
The first Anime Expo in a long time that the show was not sold out before the event. Was it the riots? Was it the fires? Maybe it's the $200 price tag for the weekend badge. There was also quite a few changes in the Artist Alley this year, where there were 671 tables last year and 1,081 tables this year. That means if you're an artist who got into the Artist Alley this year at Anime Expo, this devalues your table by almost 40%. But it doesn't stop there. Table prices also rose from $653 from the year prior to $757, devaluing it even further. But hey, Anime Expo did provide the artist Wi-Fi, which a lot of shows can't say, even though it didn't work the first day. Now let's talk about expenses. As you know, the table was $757.48. Hotel was $0 as I'm local. However, I did Uber to the event a few times, so that was $84, as parking is a nightmare. But some days I did have to drive, so parking cost me about $91. Then food for two was about $300, most of which being my soda addiction. And then an extra badge was provided by Anime Expo, so $0 there. Little bit of a win, but I did have an assistant for the weekend, which I do have to pay. So my assistant cost me about $1,500 for the weekend. They also stayed in a hotel as my apartment was very filled with friends sleeping on the floor, so that was another $450, and then their flight to LA was $120. My expenses so far were about $3,302.48. However, if you want to factor in inventory costs, which I have mathed out to be about 25% of the cost of everything I sell, and considering we brought in $13,300 in gross sales for the event, that puts my inventory costs around $3,325, leaving my total expenses for the weekend $6,627, leaving me a profit margin of around 50%. And now obviously I don't have to drink 48 sodas a day or hire an assistant, but other than that, I think these expenses are pretty realistic.
Entree.
Wow.
Special menu. We have I recommend our Magic Heart Sashimi. Then dessert.
guys like the menu?
Now, although I did manage to make a little bit more money than I did last year at Anime Expo, I attribute this mostly to the incredible placement I had this year, despite all the increased artists and everything else that was really, I think, hurting people's sales numbers over the weekend.
Come to Inkwell Illustrations booth at Anime Expo. What's your table number?
N1!
N1. Be there or be square.
And I want to just say, I think Anime Expo is a great show. It's still a great show, despite the increased artists and the increased prices. I definitely have to downgrade my ranking of Anime Expo from an S tier show down to a solid A tier. If you're like one of the most famous and popular anime artists in the world, yeah, you're going to be a hot commodity at this event. But if that's not you, it still might be an above average show, but there's other anime shows that I do better at than Anime Expo. There's other shows that I make 3 times the profit I do at Anime Expo. And now, I love this show. I think it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy myself. LineCon for the win. But if you're a veteran artist who is returning to Anime Expo, you're definitely probably going to see your profits drop with all these changes. If you're a newer artist who's never done Anime Expo, you're going to be a little confused why everybody's complaining. It's no secret that conventions are getting more competitive. However, I still think we're in the golden era of convention artists. I think this is one of the best times that the excitement for consumerism is there and profits are at its highest. And we've been able to kind of combat that gatekeeping aspect that a lot of other industries within the art world have. I do think things are getting harder, and I think that trend will only continue. However, I think the criticism of conventions getting overly competitive and getting a lot harder to get into is a bit misleading. I think this is the first time that a lot of veteran artists are actually facing true competition in the space. But if you come from the animation industry or the concept art world, or even like freelance, you know that this is pretty standard anywhere in the art world. So to see it here just seems like an inevitability. One that I think only pushes everybody to make better work, which in turn I think is good for the market. Will this get out of hand? Probably, but currently I think we're sitting in a good spot, despite what I hear from other Artist Alley vlogs. Also, chill on the stamp rallies. If you're gonna pitch me 6 stamp rallies while I'm buying something at your booth, red flag, I already don't like you as a human. And also, I feel like you have to have a lot of confidence in your fellow artists and so little confidence in your own work to want to participate in that many stamp rallies. I don't think it's good for you, I don't think it's good for the consumer, and I can definitely see people getting really annoyed by it in the space. Now, I participated in a couple stamp rallies, they were fun, but I don't really find that they are all that beneficial, despite what I've been hearing people say. Maybe I'm missing some key component, but I also am not a big fan of those types of sales tactics. So if you're going to do a stamp rally, maybe don't do 40 of them at once, and also do it with like 4 to 5 artists max, and make sure to have a good prize with the fellow artists that are participating. That's all I'm saying. That's just my little rant, opinion piece. Take it or leave it. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Please consider like and subscribing to this video, and I'll see you next time.